All right. Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, all the brothers and sisters online throughout the four corners of the earth. I'd like to give all praises to the Most High, Ahaya Bahashim Yeshai Ruach Kadash. What I said was the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit in the ancient Hebrew tongue. And we also say Shema Yasharala Ahaya, Ahaya Nawa Ahaya Achad, which is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. Right? You find that in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. Right? I pray that everybody had a good, and feeling week. I know, for myself, I could speak for myself. I had a great week. I know the brothers and sisters here also had a great week. I hope you guys online streaming had a great week as well. And we just finished celebrating the Feast of Purim, which was also a blessing. Being able to give back to those of our people who are in need. And it was yesterday, it was a beautiful event that we had. The people were so appreciative. And I would like to thank you too, all you brothers and sisters online and everybody who donates and who gives back and helps us do the work. That was your work as well too. So those of you who who you are, you contribute, you help out with what we're doing. Everything that you've done and that you contributed helped in what we've done yesterday for our people. So want to thank you all for that, right? As you guys could already see, the titles of today's lesson, if you can't see it, I'm going to just say it for you real quick, is are you serving or are you waiting to be served? Right? That's the title. Are you serving or are you waiting to be served? Right? And this lesson was more so inspired from, this past feast, the Feast of Purim. And if some of you don't know what Purim was all about, Purim was actually a time where the children of Israel was saved out of the hands of our enemies under our sister Esther and her uncle Mordecai, right? And after that they instituted the Feast of Purim, where they gave gifts to one another and gave gifts to the poor, right? I'm trying to this, right? And gave gifts to the poor. So, in that spirit, it's all about serving, right? All about serving and receiving the gift of life. And, as you can see, our people was able to receive, the gift of life by being spared, right? So, with this lesson, this is going to, affirm and to reinsure and re-instruct all of us on what we're actually all called to do, right? Are we serving the Most High's people, or are we waiting to be served, okay, by the hands of the Most High's people, right? And I would like to read this today, because this a little introduction that we put together, right? It says, we have been taught in this resting world the concept of every man for himself, right? And self-empowering, right? And wanting to be recognized on this earth as gods. But what about your fellow man, right? Your neighbor, your family, your friends? Where do they fit in your self-driven mindset, right? This is the question that we need to start asking ourselves, because we were taught like this. We were taught to think of ourselves first before we think about others, while the people who's running the system is benefiting from us working for them, right? So if we're spending our talents and our gifts working for the system, what are we building for ourselves, for our communities, for our future kingdom, right? And this is the reason why we have to go through this, because this is something that Christ also taught, right? And this is how it was instructed from the very beginning, right? And we're gonna go into that. I want to show you that. And there's something key that I want that we're gonna speak about during this lesson that you guys have to understand, right? The greatest amongst us should be the servants, and we're gonna get that scripture too, right? So we have to understand this concept because we were taught a certain way, right? And it's gonna get clearer as the lesson goes on. But let's go to the beginning. Let's see how this whole thing was actually even started. How the Most High had it already in his mind to have us to work together and not to work alone. And we could find that example in the book of Genesis. Genesis, the 2nd chapter, and verse 18. Let's go there. Take it there real quick. Yeah.
The book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord, the Most High God, said, "It is not good that the man should be alone.
Mm-hmm.
I will make him and help meet for him."
Mm-hmm. So you see that? We already see the Most High made man in his image, or in their image. And he looked at Adam and said, "It is not good for a man to be alone." I want you guys to keep that in mind. It is not good for a man to be alone. Go ahead.
Verse 19.
But I would make him a helpmeet, but go ahead.
And out of the ground,
Mm-hmm.
the Most High Power formed every beast of the field
Mm-hmm.
and every fowl of the air,
Right?
and brought them unto Adam.
And brought them unto Adam. So the Most High was giving him a job. When he created all the animals, he purposely brought all the animals to Adam for a reason.
Mhm.
Right? Go ahead.
To see what he would call them.
See, to see what he would call them. Go ahead.
And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Verse 20. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air,
Mm-hmm.
and to every beast of the field.
Mm-hmm.
But for Adam, there was not found in help meet for him.
So you see that? Even though Adam was in communication with all these different animals, and we understand that they was in communication because when you go into the book of Jasher, or the book of the upright ones, it tells you that Adam used to communicate. They used to speak. It tells us that in the book of Jubilees also that the Most High closed the mouths of all the animals after the sin of Adam. So the animals at one point had the ability to speak. At one point, that's something that a lot of people don't really know. But you see that Adam couldn't even find a helpmeet with the animals that he was dealing with, that he was ordering. Right? So go ahead.
Verse 21. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam,
Oh, you see that? Go ahead.
and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof.
Go ahead.
Verse 21. And the Most High Power caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. No, verse 22, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And the rib which the Most High Power had taken from man, made he a woman,
So he made a woman with what he did with Adam. Go ahead.
and brought her unto the man.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 23. And Adam said, "This is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man."
Because she was taken out of a man. So we see the basic concept here was what? Adam was alone at one point, but then the Most High seen it wasn't okay for a man to be alone. Because and now we got to figure out, why was it that the Most High had to create another person for Adam? Because you're going to understand something about this whole thing, about cooperation. Co meaning two. You need two people to operate, working in a company. See, the word co is in the beginning of company. You need more than one people to run a company. So now we got to figure out, where did this self-driven mentality, or it's all about me, right? Looking to get a handout. Where did this come from? Where did this mindset come from? Because it wasn't instituted like that from the beginning.
Also, company also goes with the word companion. Companionship.
Right.
More than one people coming together.
Right, Khan. You see that? So now we have to investigate, where did this self-driven motivation, and everybody speaking about I'm a god and I'm this and I'm that, and everybody want to be recognized for something, everybody want to be given something, but no one wants to give. No one wants to see the betterment of their people. And it sometimes seems a little strange when you try to help somebody, because they look at you and they feel like you just want something from them. You understand? Like people can't just help somebody just because they just want to out of the kindness of their heart. But this all has been turned. This all has been put this way by something, by someone. Matter of fact, let's go into that. Stay in the book of Genesis. Genesis 6. Where did this mindset come from? Right? Where did this ideology come from where now it's every man for themselves and no one can work together? Especially amongst our people. Because if you go into any other different communities, you see all of the communities working together.
Right.
See the Jewish people they working together. They operate their communities together. It thrives. The Chinese community, you go into their communities, they thriving. You come into where you see blacks and Hispanics in the ghettos. You see nothing but gang violence, war, theft and robbery of each other, killing, murder. How did this affect the children of Israel that much? What is the key concept that they've left behind that's allowing them to be in that kind of situation? Let's get that. Let's go to Genesis 6:1, where it all started.
Genesis chapter 6, starting at verse 1.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, verse 2, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair. And they took them wives of all which they chose.
So you see that? So in that time, it says the sons of God took wives of all that they chose. Certain scholars or quote unquote biblical scholars would like to say this is talking about regular men. People were doing this. But we're going to go into an extra biblical text called the book of Enoch, which actually explains all this. But continue reading.
Verse 3. And the Most High said, my spirit shall not always strive with men.
My spirit shall not always strive with man, because what?
For that he also is flesh.
For he is also his flesh. Go ahead.
Yet his days shall be 120 years.
Go ahead.
Verse 4. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them.
And they bear children unto them. So now that even gives you another explanation about giants coming on this earth. Right? So now some of us might read this and be like, okay, so giants did exist. What explains that? The next book that we're going to go into is going to actually explain that. Right? Go ahead. Ayan.
And they bare children to them.
They bear children to them.
The same became mighty men.
The same became mighty men.
Which were of old, men of renown.
Go ahead.
Verse 5. And the Most High saw that the wickedness of men was great in the earth.
So you see that. So before this time, wickedness wasn't on the earth as it is from that point. Right? Something happened in the earth which allowed wickedness to come on this earth. Right? Sin. Right? Hatred, variance, wars. Now you're going to understand where this concept came from, because that self-empowerment concept. No, I'm not saying that you cannot self-encourage yourself, but to put yourself on a pedestal above everybody else, that's evil. Because man wasn't created to be by himself. Right? That was the example that we gave when we read, Genesis, the 2nd chapter. Right? So all the wickedness that's on this earth came from somewhere. So you see, the Most High said, and the Most High saw that the wickedness of man was great on the earth from that point in time. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 5. No, verse 6.
No, read verse 5 again.
Read verse 5 again?
Yeah.
And the Most High saw that the wickedness of men was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his hearts was only evil continually. You see that? Go ahead. Verse 6. And it repented the Most High that he had made man on the earth.
Go ahead.
And it grieved him at his heart.
Go ahead.
Verse 7. And the Most High said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air. For it repenteth me that I have made them.
So you see that? So the perfect creation that the Most High created under Adam, right? Now, there was error with them. because of what we read earlier with the sons of God coming down and sleeping with the daughters of men and creating giants. But you're going to understand that that wasn't the only thing that they were doing on this earth. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 8.
Verse 8. Mm-hmm.
But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Most High.
But thank the Most High for Noah that the race of man could continue to be on this earth, because he was still righteous. He wasn't following what was taught on the earth by the evil ones. Let's go there real quick. We're going into the book of Enoch, right? Going into the book of Enoch, because without the book of Enoch, you cannot explain what you're reading here in in chapter 6 of the book of Genesis. The book of Enoch gives you a clear description of what was going on and what was actually happening on the earth, and why there was so much wickedness on the earth at that time. Right? Read this real quick. We're in the book of Enoch. We're going to read chapters 6 and 7. Right?
All right.
Go ahead.
The book of Enoch, chapter 6, and we're going to start at verse 1.
Yeah.
It came to pass, when the children of men had multiplied, that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters.
You see? The same thing that we just read in Genesis, the 6th chapter. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 2. And the angels...
And the what?
And the angels...
So you see that? The book of Genesis, was translated and put there as the sons of God. Is that wrong? No. The angels are considered the sons of God. Right? But in the book of Enoch, it was translated to show you that it was angels. Go ahead.
And the angels, the children of the heaven.
The children of the heaven. So those are also the Most High's children. We are his earthly children. The angels are his heavenly children. Go ahead.
Saw and lusted after them.
You see that? Go ahead.
And said to one another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and beget us children.
Go ahead. You see that?
Verse 3. And Semjaza, who was their leader, said unto them, I fear ye will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin.
So they understood what the actions that they was getting ready to do was sinful. They weren't created to do what they're doing. Okay? They weren't created for that. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And they all answered him and said, Let us all swear an oath and all bind ourselves by mutual imprecations.
Go ahead.
Not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing.
Go ahead.
Verse 5. Then swear they all together and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it.
Just jump down to chapter 7 now. You don't got to read all their names.
All right.
Listen to this now. Listen to this clearly.
It's
Go
the
ahead.
book of Enoch, chapter 7, verse 1. And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one. And they began to go in unto them and to defile themselves with them. And they taught them charms.
You see that? So now you're starting to understand. Now you're gonna understand when it's said in Genesis, the 6th chapter, that there was wickedness in the hearts of men continuously. How did they learn wickedness? They didn't just wake up one day and just say, you know what, we're gonna be wicked and we're gonna be evil. That's an action that you're taught. You're taught to be wicked. Okay, read this. It said what? The angels did what? Came down and taught them what?
And they taught them charms.
They taught them charms.
And enchantments.
All these things are evil and wicked and satanic practices. Go ahead.
And the cutting of roots.
And the cutting of root, that's witchcraft. Go ahead.
And made them acquainted with plants.
You see that? Made them acquainted with plants. Now, how do you think the pharmaceutical companies were created? That was created all from, playing with plants and roots, and mixing and splicing different plants, like the marijuana plant,
cocaine,
or cocaine from the coca leaf, or opium. These things were on the earth, but they were taught to be used for evil. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And they became pregnant, and they bare great giants.
And they bared great giants,
whose heights were 3,000 eels, who consumed all the inquisitions of men.
Go ahead.
And when men could no longer sustain them. Verse 4. the giants turned against them and devoured mankind.
You see, so now the giants that were created through sin started to destroy the products of creation. Now you understand. Now you can understand why the flood had to happen. The Most High had to eradicate all of the wickedness that was on the earth through the giants and through the sons of men that followed the teachings of the giants. That's why it said in verse 8 in Genesis 6, Noah found grace in the sight of the Most High, because he didn't follow the wickedness of man at that time. He didn't follow the teachings of the giants and the fallen angels at that time. So now we get an understanding of where this wickedness was coming from. Now you see, along with the wicked thoughts of that self-driven mentality and only thinking about yourself and not caring about your fellow man, and that all came from satanic practices, right? So now that's it on that. That's what I want to get on that, to show the origins of these of these wicked practices, right? So now, what did the Most High do to combat all this, right? He made a perfect creation, right? He made Adam, and he said Adam couldn't live by himself, so he made Eve, and then he started to multiply the earth with people, so that way they could be created on this earth for one sole purpose. To what? To serve the Most High God. That's what we was created for. To serve Him, right? So now the question is, how can we serve the Most High if we don't know how to serve each other? It's going to be completely impossible to even know how to serve a being if we as people can't even serve each other. You don't learn how to serve by just watching, it's by doing. And Christ taught this concept. This is the reason why, another reason why the Most High had to send Christ, to undo a lot of the things that Satan and his angels were doing on this earth. Let's read this. Let's go to the book of Luke. We'll take you there to show you basic concepts that Christ taught that we tend to overlook. Luke, the 22nd chapter, and take it at verse 24.
Luke, the 22nd chapter. We're going to start at verse 4.
24.
24? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there was also a strife among them, which of them should be accounted the greatest.
So now this is Christ and his 12 disciples. His 12 disciples were sitting around with each other, right? And they were trying to figure out which one of them were greater. So you see, they still was operating in that spirit of, I'm better than you, or it's about me. Let me build me up first and I'll take care of you later. So now you see they had a discussion among themselves, which one of them was greater. You see that? Go ahead.
Verse 25. And he said unto them.
So Christ said unto them,
the kings of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them.
Mm-hmm.
And they that exercise authority upon them are called benefactors.
Go ahead.
Verse 26. But ye shall not be so.
Mm-hmm. See that? So he was giving an example, like, you see, that's how the Gentiles operate. All right, they more so worry about who's ahead of who, and they're called benefactors. They benefit from that, right? Mm-hmm. But Christ said we are not to operate like that, right? Because what happens when the glory of men start to come on an individual? They start to be puffed up. Mm-hmm. They start to look down at people and talk down to people. When Christ didn't come to teach that. Because why? Christ was also a servant to who? The Most High. Just because he was a Lord over us, he had to show us that, yes, I am a Lord over you, but I'm still a servant. You're going to see that. Watch, go ahead.
But he that is greatest among you, let him be as the younger.
He said, he that is the greatest among you, let him be as the younger. Go ahead.
And he that is chief.
And he that is chief.
Is he that doeth serve.
As he that doeth serve. So now Christ was using that situation amongst the disciples to teach them something. To teach them the real purpose of what he's here for. To reinstill or to reteach them, what do we do to build our kingdom? Right? He said the chief amongst us shall be what? Servants. Right? Not looking to be served. Because Christ didn't look to be served by anybody. Mm-hmm. When you see how Christ was moving, he sat down with the lowly, with the weak, with the poor, with the meek of the earth.
Right.
That's who he broke bread with. There was plenty of times where the Pharisees would say, "Yo, why you sit over there? Come sit with us." He was like, "Nah, I'm good. Y'all don't need a physician. I came for those who need me. They need me. I'm here to serve them. I'm not here to be put up on a high pedestal and have everybody, cater to me. That's going to defeat the purpose of what I came to teach." Go ahead.
Verse 27.
Mm-hmm.
For whether is greater, he that sitteth at meat or he that serveth?
Mm-hmm.
Is not he that sitteth at meat, but I am among you as he that serveth.
So he said, you see, we already know that the one who's the chief of the feast is the one who's greater. Mm-hmm. The servants don't get looked at. But he said, but look, I know that I'm the chief, but look, I'm here with you. I'm sitting with you. I break bread with you. Mm-hmm. I serve you. You see that? Go ahead.
Verse 28. Ye are they which have continued with me
mm-hmm.
in my temptations.
You have continued with me in my temptations. Go ahead.
And I appointed unto you a kingdom,
mm-hmm.
as my Father hath appointed unto me.
Go ahead.
Verse 30. That ye may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel.
So that would be the reward for what they're going through, what they're going to experience under Christ. Right? So he used this opportunity to teach them, like, yo, it's not about who's greatest. It's about what you can serve. How are you serving? No matter how much power you have, no matter how much wealth you have, how much political status you have, that should be you using that platform to serve those who are lesser than you, to give them an example so that way when they get to your position, they learn how to serve. And Christ meant what he said when he said that the greatest among you shall be servants. How do we know that? Let's go to the book of John, the 13th chapter. Christ meant what he said, and he meant what he taught.
John chapter 13.
John 13 and 1. Take it from verse 1. Let's look at this situation here.
John chapter 13, verse 1. Now before the feast of the Passover, when Yeshua knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them unto the end.
So you see that? So he loved them unto the end. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And supper being ended, the devil having now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him, Yeshua, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hand, that he was come from the Most High, and went to the Most High.
Go ahead.
Verse 4. He riseth from supper,
mm-hmm.
and laid aside his garments, and took a towel, and girded himself.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 5. After that, he poured water into a basin, and began to wash the disciples' feet, and to wipe them with the towel wherewith he was girded.
So you see that? Here it is, Christ, the Messiah, the soon-to-be king over Israel, washing his disciples' feet. You see that? Now, what king is going to be doing that? You think you would ever seen President Obama doing that? Coming down in his cabinet and washing all of the members in his cabinet's feet? Right? Go ahead.
Verse 6. Then cometh he to Simon Peter. Peter saith unto him, Lord, doest thou wash my feet?
So now Peter was confused. Peter was like, yo, you washing my... He addressed him as Lord.
Mhm.
He said, Lord, Master, you washing my feet? Go ahead.
Verse 7. Yeshua answered and said unto him, But I do, thou knowest not now.
So he said, what I'm doing, you don't even understand what I'm doing. But what?
But thou shalt know hereafter.
But you're going to know. You're going to know the truth. You're going to understand why I'm doing this. Because he did that as a public example amongst his disciples to show them how to operate while building their churches and gathering the people. Teaching them how to tarry for one another. How to serve one another. And like I said earlier, there's no way none of us will be able to know how to serve the Most High properly if we ourselves don't learn how to serve. That's very important. And we're going to get you another biblical example of a situation of someone who was chosen because why? They were a servant first. Right? The Most High was able to use them because they already had that spirit of wanting to serve. Go ahead. What verse he was at?
Verse 8. Peter saith unto him, Thou shalt never wash my feet. Yeshua answered him, If I wash thee not, thou hast no part with me. Verse 9. Simon Peter saith unto him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head.
So Peter was like, Peter looked at Christ and was like, yo, let me wash your feet instead. You can't be washing mine. Then Christ said, yo, if I don't wash your feet, then you can't roll with me. Then Peter immediately was like, you know what? Don't just wash my feet, wash everything. Because that's how down he was with Christ. You see that? Go ahead.
Now we're at verse 10. Yeshua saith unto him, He that is washed needeth not save to wash his feet, but is clean every whit. And ye are clean, but not all.
Ye are clean, but not all, because he knew that not all of his disciples were with him. Was with him. Because Judas, he already knew that Judas would betray him. Go ahead.
Now we're at verse 11. For he knew who should betray him. Therefore said he, Ye are not all clean.
That's why he said they're all not clean. All of y'all is not even with me. See? Go ahead.
Verse 12. So after he had washed their feet, and had taken his garments, and was set down again, he said unto them, Know ye what I have done to you?
So now he's explaining what it is that he was doing. Showing them the example of what he was coming to teach them. And that we would carry on to in this day and age. Right? Go ahead.
Ye call me Master and Lord, and ye say well, for so I am. Verse 14. If I then, your Lord and Master, have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash one another's feet.
So you see that? He showed them as an example, like, how can he teach them to do something if he is not already doing it himself?
By example.
Exactly. If you guys call me Master, so if you guys follow me, that means the things that I do, you will also do too. I serve you. So I need you guys to serve each other. Basic concepts. Go ahead.
Verse 15. For I have given you an example.
You see that?
That ye should do as I have done to you. Verse 16. Verily, verily, I say unto you, that the servant is not greater than his Lord. Neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him.
So you see that? So you're showing the example is, you see that? I'm not greater than the one that sent me, the Most High, Ahaya. I still serve my Father. You guys serve me, but I still got to show you how to serve. Because without you learning how to serve, you cannot serve the Father. Go ahead.
Verse 17. If ye know these things, happy are ye if ye do them. I speak not of you all. I know whom I have chosen.
I know whom I have chosen. Go ahead.
but that the scripture may be fulfilled. He that eateth bread with me hath lifted up his heel against me.
That's talking about Judas. Go ahead.
Now I tell you before it come, that when it is come to pass, ye may believe that I am he. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that receiveth whomsoever I send receiveth me, and he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me.
So you see that? So in order to even be received by the Father, you have to be received. In order for the Father to receive you, you got to go through Christ, and Christ was that example. Christ was showing them how to serve the Father by serving each other, because that's what we were created to do, to serve each other. Makes sense now, right? Now we see why the Most High had to create Eve, for this example to be fulfilled in us. You see that? Now, like I said, let's go to the biblical example that we have, that we can use to show, right, how the Most High chooses, okay, those who have that servant spirit. Okay, let's go to the book of 1 Samuel with one of the greatest examples we have in our king, one of our kings, King David, right? May glory and honor be upon his name, right? So we go into 1 Samuel, the 13th chapter, and take it at verse 13. Let's see an example here, biblically, of this being done.
1 Samuel chapter 13. We're going to start at verse 13. And Samuel said to Saul, thou hast done foolishly.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Thou hast not kept the commandment of the Most High Ahiah, which he commanded thee. For now, with the Most High, have established thy kingdom upon Israel forever.
So now this is when the Most High began to reject, okay, Saul as king over Israel. Why? Now the question is why? Because he said here that thou hast not kept the commandment that was given to you. So now this is something you have to understand as well too. A servant receives commands from what? His master. The Most High, being the master, gave a command to his servant Saul. Saul, being a disobedient servant, not understanding how to serve, was taken away from his position. Because why? He failed to keep a command. So now, this is an example for us. I want you to keep that in mind. If we cannot keep the commands from our master, we also will we too will also be rejected, as how Saul was rejected. Saul wasn't a perfect servant. He didn't have that perfect heart to be willing to serve. He didn't have that spirit to want to serve others. It was about himself. Go ahead and continue reading.
Verse 14.
Yeah.
But now thy kingdom shall not continue.
See that?
The Most High hath sought him a man after his own heart.
You see that? The Most High found someone else who was after the Most High's heart. Go ahead.
And the Most High hath commanded him to be captain over his people, because thou hast not kept that which the Most High commanded thee.
You see that? You weren't a faithful servant. You failed to serve. You cannot serve me because you cannot do what I command you to do. You don't know how to serve. You see that? So it's very important for us to learn how to serve each other. Because without that, we cannot serve the Most High. His point is there's no way you could do it. If you can't serve the people that the Most High have created on this earth, how can you possibly serve him? You haven't even learned how to serve. Let's get another example. Same book, chapter 16. Now let's see the servant that the Most High chose. Let's see what was one of the key attributes in King David that the Most High seen in him and said, you know what? This is who's gonna do my work for my people. He's a man after my own heart. Okay? He's gonna he's gonna show the people how to serve. And now you see how Christ was moving in that same spirit, because why? Christ was of the same loins. He came from the loins of David. So it's only right that he does what his father did. Mm-hmm. King David was a servant at heart. Christ was also a servant at heart. Even though he was a king, just like how King David was a king. You see that? So we in the 16th chapter.
Yes.
And take it at verse 1 now. Now let's get this back history here.
Mm-hmm. 1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 1.
Yeah.
And the Most High said unto Samuel, how long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel?
You see that? So Saul was rejected. The Most High wanted nothing to do with him no more. He was out of here. Mm-hmm. You understand? He didn't know how to serve. He couldn't, as a servant, you couldn't even keep a simple command, right? Go ahead.
Fill thine horn with oil and go. I will send thee to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king amongst his sons.
So now he had provided him a king amongst his sons. Now you're going to see how this transpired. Now you're going to see the events that led up to David being crowned king. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And Samuel said, how can I go? If Saul hear it, he will kill me. Mm-hmm. And the Most High said, take an heifer with thee, and say, I've come to sacrifice to the Most High. Verse 3. And call Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show thee what thou shalt do, and thou shalt anoint unto me him whom I name unto thee.
Go ahead.
Verse 4. And Samuel did that which the Most High spake, and came to Bethlehem, and the elders of the town trembled at his coming, and said, comest thou peaceably?
So you can see that Samuel, one of the prophets, he was a man who was highly respected. But they knew when Saul came down is because the Most High, they know when Samuel came down, it's because the Most High sent him to finish the business. Right? He wasn't playing around.
So it's ready.
Yeah, he had it ready. Anybody disrespecting the Most High, that's when the Most High sent Samuel. That's why the elders were like, did you came peaceably? We don't want no trouble here. Right? But go ahead, continue reading.
Verse 5. And he said, peaceably.
I'm in peace. Don't worry about it. Y'all good. Go ahead.
I come to sacrifice unto the Most High. Mm-hmm. Sanctify yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice.
Go ahead.
And he sanctified Jesse and his sons and called them to the sacrifice.
Yeah.
Verse 6. And it came to pass.
Listen to this now.
When they were come,
mm-hmm.
that he looked on Eliab and said, surely the Most High anointed is before him.
Mm-hmm. And this is one of Jesse's older sons. Mm-hmm. He was like, okay, this gotta be him. Mm-hmm. You know, he's a strong young man. The anointing of the Most High is definitely on him. Mm-hmm. Surely this is the one that the Most High have chosen to lead Israel. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Verse 7. Mm-hmm. But the Most High said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance.
The Most High said, doesn't matter if he's big and strong. Mm-hmm. Don't look at that. Mm. What is the Most High looking at?
Or on the height of his stature.
Or the height of his stature. Tall young man, strong.
Because I have refused him.
I have refused him.
But the Most High seeth not as man seeth.
You see that?
For man looketh on the outward appearance, mm-hmm. but the Most High looketh on the heart.
The Most High looketh upon the heart. Mm-hmm. Right? You see that? So the Most High already knew that wasn't the one that I've chosen. Mm-hmm. That's not him. Go ahead.
Then Jesse called Abinadab, and made him pass before Samuel. And he said, neither had the Most High chosen this.
So Jesse brought forward another one of his sons. Like, is it him? Mm-hmm. He's one of my oldest sons. He's one of my next older sons. He's like next in line. Mm-hmm. Does the Most High want him? Most High wasn't looking for him. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Then Jesse made Shammah to pass by, and he said, neither had the Most High chosen this.
So the Most High didn't choose another one of his sons. That wasn't him either. Go ahead.
Verse 10. Again, Jesse made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel.
7 of his sons the Most High was not dealing with. Okay? 7 of them. Go ahead.
And Samuel said unto Jesse, the Most High hath not chosen these.
See? This is not the one that he's looking for. It's not him. But what happened though?
And Samuel said unto Jesse, are here all thy children?
So he's like, are these all your sons? Because you have 7 boys here, and the Most High not dealing with none of them.
And he said, there remaineth yet the youngest.
There remained the what?
Yet the youngest.
There remain yet the youngest one.
And behold, he keepeth the sheep.
Behold, he what?
He keepeth the sheep.
He keepeth the sheep. And that was one of the lowest jobs, as in the family. All the older boys, they were doing other things. Warriors, hunting, athletic, and here come the youngest one tending to sheep. You see, and it also tells you that the Egyptians, they hated our culture. They hated the fact that we were shepherds because that was like one of the lowest jobs. You don't take care of no sheep. But why did the Most High choose him? The youngest, humble out of all of them. Jesse told him, your brothers don't want to do it. You got to keep watch over the sheep. Watching the sheep. Servant at heart. Young man. And to be a shepherd, to be watching over sheep, you have to have a care for the sheep. The sheep, and patience. You have the sheep have to know you. They have to trust you. You have to lead them. You have to have a certain type of care for these animals for them to be able to trust you. Sheep don't eat. And one thing, if you know about sheep, they don't just go to anybody. They only go to their master. Because why? They know that their master cares for them. Their master will protect them. Right? So now look at who the Most High chose. The youngest out of all his 7, all of his 8 sons, and the one who was the servant out of all of them. Look at that. King David was a servant at heart already. Just wanting to serve, just want to be able to help. And the way he was able to help his family at that time was to be the shepherd. Go ahead.
And Samuel said unto Jesse, send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither.
So now he was like, this has got to be the one. Go ahead.
And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy and with all of a beautiful countenance.
So it says he was ruddy and he was of a beautiful countenance. So King David was light-skinned. He was a light-skinned pretty boy.
That's how you know this is Israel.
Yeah, he was a pretty boy. You know what I'm saying? All of us was dark-skinned, but here come the pretty boy. Light-skinned, pretty boy, beautiful countenance, right? Probably had curly hair. Go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And the Most High said, arise, anoint him, for this is he.
So the Most High said, this is the one that I'm looking for. This is the one who will serve me properly. He is the man that is after my heart. He was born to serve me. And he will teach my people how to serve me. And it tells us, especially when you're reading the book of Baruch, when we did that lesson,
life after,
not the life after, when we did the lesson where we spoke about the history, world history according to the Most High. During the time period of King David's reign, it says that the whole earth was in perfect harmony. There was nothing but righteousness that was on the earth during King David's reign. The whole world was at peace. Everybody knew about the glory of the Most High because why? The proper king was there to teach them how to serve. It says that was the most beautiful time on earth. Okay, when King David was reigning. You see that? So the Most High knew what he was doing when he picked David. Go ahead.
Verse 13. Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren. And the Spirit of the Most High came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah.
So you see that? So now we see who the Most High was looking for to lead his people. not somebody who was looking to be served, okay? Looking to be glorified and everybody screaming his name and sitting up at the high tables, sitting up on his throne and just looking down at everybody. He was looking for the one who was already willing to serve. Because if you could serve my people, then surely you can serve me. That's how the Most High is looking at it. So this is why I said, if we don't learn how to serve each other, there's no way possible we can serve the Most High. It's physically impossible. It's proven biblically. It's been proven biblically. You see that? That's the reason why we ask that question. Are you serving or are you waiting to be served? Because the Most High is looking for servants who's obedient, who's willing to be obedient like David or like Christ. No matter your position, no matter what you was called to do, to lead, how much people you was called to lead. Can you serve at the end of the day? Can you put yourself in the forefront with your people? Right? And this is what we got to understand. This is what we got to keep in mind. When it comes down to, are we ready, are we willing to serve? Right? Now let's go to the New Testament. We're almost done here. This lesson is not too long. It's just straight to the point. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 11.
First Corinthians 11.
I want to read this just to show that even Paul had to re-instruct them on how to instruct this church at this particular time, because they wasn't looking out for each other. They weren't willing to be servants to each other. Okay? Go to 1 Corinthians 11 and 17. Listen to this real quick.
1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
Now in this that I declare unto you, I praise you not, that ye come together not for the better, but for the worse.
Mm-hmm.
For first of all, when ye come together in the church, I hear that there be divisions among you, and I partly believe it.
And he was saying he partly believe it because he didn't want to believe that. I didn't teach y'all how to operate like that. Y'all didn't get that example from me. Where did this come from? Right? Go ahead.
Verse 19. For there must be also heresies among you.
You see? So there must be some heresies among you. Somebody must have came in and taught y'all how to do this. Because I didn't teach this. This is what Paul was saying. Go ahead.
That they which are approved may be made manifest among you.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Verse 20. When ye come together, therefore, unto one place, this is not to eat the Most High supper.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 21. For in eating every one taketh before others his own supper, and one is hungry and another is drunken.
So you see that? Mm-hmm. So even with the simplest thing when it came to food, they couldn't even look at it for each other for that. Mm-hmm. Something as simple as that, as small as that, making sure everybody eat. Go ahead.
Verse 22. What? Have ye not houses to eat and to drink?
So he started to rebuke them. You don't have your own house to eat? You don't have your own houses to drink? Go ahead.
Or despise ye the church of the Most High,
mm-hmm.
and shame them that have not?
Mm-hmm.
What shall I say to you? Shall I praise you in this? I praise you not.
So he had to come down on them because, like, yo, I don't know what y'all dealing with in here, but this can't continue. All right? Being called as a servant of the Most High requires us to serve each other first. Right? Jump down to verse 31.
Verse 31.
Yeah.
For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged.
You see, if we're able to judge ourselves in these kind of small matters, we will not be judged, right? Go ahead. Because we're able to, to operate and function and don't need nobody to tell us what we need to be doing as servants. Go ahead.
But when we are judged,
mm-hmm.
we are chastened of the Most High,
mm-hmm.
that we should not be condemned with the world.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 33. Wherefore, my brethren, when ye come together to eat, tarry one for another.
Tarry one for another. See, look out for one another. Go ahead.
And if any man hunger, let him eat at home, that he come not together unto condemnation, and the rest will I set in order when I come.
So he said that make sure y'all following these key concepts. So when I come amongst y'all, you know what I'm saying, I'll put the rest in order. So this is something that even in the New Testament, after Christ was teaching this concept, they still was dealing with this. Our people was still dealing with this very selfish mindset that we need to overcome to be proper servants of the Most High. Right? Go to the book of 1 Peter. Chapter 4. Start at verse 7.
1 Peter chapter 4.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna start at verse 7.
Listen to this.
But the end of all things is at hand.
Mm-hmm.
Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer.
Be ye there sober and watch unto prayer. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. And above all things.
And above all things.
Have fervent charity.
Have fervent charity.
Amongst yourselves.
Amongst yourselves. You see that? Go ahead.
For charity shall cover the multitude of sins.
For charity shall cover a multitude of sins. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Verse 9. Use hospitality one to another without grudging.
Use hospitality one to another without grudging. Go ahead.
As every man hath received the gift, even so minister the same one to another.
You see that? So we need to be operating and using these gifts one to another without grudging and saying things under our breaths. And he's like, why you always gotta make me do this? Why I can't? You should want to do it. Okay? It should be in your spirit to just want to do it. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. You do it. That's how we're gonna make it. Right? Go ahead.
As good stewards of the manifold grace of the Most High.
See, as good stewards. Right? Go ahead. So we see there that it says that charity covereth the multitude of sins. And with that being said, I want to point this out when it comes to charity now. Some of us might feel overly zealous when it comes to charity. What do I mean when I say that? Right? Just want to help everybody. You know what I'm saying? If you had a choice, you'll down to your last penny, you'll give it. But you got to be very careful with that and use the spirit of discernment when it comes to this charity, because you can do charity for those who you know is at a loss. Okay, someone you know is hurt and is suffering. But there's a difference between someone who's hurt and who needs the charity and someone who's a beggar. Okay, I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to use scriptures to back that up. There's a difference between someone who needs help and someone who made a career out of begging. That's wrong. You see that? And with that spirit of discernment, you know, we're able to filter out some of these things. And that could actually prevent us from actually wanting to help somebody who's really in need because of a beggar. Let's go to in the Apocrypha. I just want to read this one scripture because I know some people feel bad, you know, that you know we can't give as much as or serve as much to someone who's on the street just begging, right? I'm gonna really explain the difference here, so you guys don't feel convicted in your spirit, you know, when it comes down to giving somebody $1 or somebody who's asking. And you know, read this real quick. Ecclesiasticus 40 and 28. Because like I said, all of us is good people. All of us want to give, right? But you got to be careful. You don't want somebody to use your spirit of charity, for their gain, being slothful.
Ecclesiastes chapter 40, verse 28.
Mm-hmm.
My son, lead not a beggar's life.
See that? We are all instructed to not lead a beggar's life. Go ahead.
For better it is to die than to beg.
Better it is to die than to beg. Go ahead.
Verse 29. The life of him that dependeth on another man's table is not to be counted for a life.
You see that? If you made a career out of begging, and you want me to feel sorry for you because you made a career out of begging, that is wrong. Because here I am, I'm trying to be a good person, but yet you're using that as an opportunity to gain from what I've worked hard for. There's a difference. Go ahead.
For he polluteth himself with another man's meat.
He polluted himself with another man's meat, or with another man's food. You're taking food from my family because I feel bad for you, and there's nothing wrong with you.
Just lazy.
You're just lazy. You see? Go ahead.
But a wise man,
But a wise man,
well nurtured, will beware thereof.
Will beware thereof. Go ahead.
Begging is sweet in the mouth of the shameless.
Begging is sweet in the mouth of the shameless. Go ahead.
But in his belly there shall burn a fire.
And in his belly there shall burn a fire. So I brought this out, because this whole lesson was about what? Serving others. And like I said, us being in that spirit of wanting to serve and help our people, we can't allow there's certain people out there who's just gonna use your kindness for weakness. And I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna tell you a story. I remember I shared this with you. I think I shared this with you as well too. Right? There was one Sunday. Right? I was at work. Right? And I had to take a bus to get to one destination, to get to a relief point. So I got off the bus and I seen a dude, and immediately we made eye contact. So he's like, "Yo, brother, what's going on, man? I'm sorry to bother you. You think you can help me out?" So I used that as an opportunity to try to bring the brother in, teach him about the history of why he's suffering, what's going on with you. Just trying to serve the brother as best as I could. Helping the brother out, trying to make him realize and show him like, yo, you could change your situation, man. You don't gotta be out here on this corner begging. So at the end of the conversation, I gave him a couple of dollars, gave him a couple of dollars. Yo, be safe, man. And I told him, yo, remember what I told you, man. You gotta come back to these commandments. I'm saying that's the reason why we're suffering, man. Remember what I told you, man. Look that information up. So, he greeted me like, all right, he appreciated it. All right. Next Sunday now, see the same brother in the same location, doing the same thing. So I approached the brother. I was like, what's going on? So I went to go check on him. Like, yo, see if everything is all right. See if you took heed to the things that I told you last week. I was like, yo, brother. I was like, yo, what's going on? Did you think about what I told you last week? His response to me was, yeah, everything you said was good, man, but I'm not trying to really talk about that right now. I'm just trying to make my couple of dollars and go back home. So I'm like, all right, I knew what time it was. You don't really want the help. You just want to beg. So then I left him right there. I was like, yo, man, just still look out for the information, man. Just, try to see if you can help yourself. The third Sunday passed, and I see the same brother again. This time, the reaction was this. I see him. He looked me in my face. I look him in his face, and I keep walking. Why? Because his sole purpose wasn't to look for help. He didn't generally need my help. He was comfortable doing what? Begging. So we have to understand the situation here. You have to be able to discern when it comes to people outside the body, how to serve them and know when someone needs help and when someone doesn't need help. Right? We can't allow that zealousness to want to serve, cause you to be at a deficit. Because there's, like I said, there's people out there that will use you. But amongst the body, we are called to serve. And those who are outside of the body, we will try to serve and help and lead in the right path. But if you see it's not going that way, shalom. Godspeed. Hopefully the Most High can help you in your walk. Right? So we got to understand these simple concepts. And I believe that's why some people, turn away from wanting to help and wanting to serve. Right? Because you don't know if someone is if someone genuinely wants your help or if they're just using you. Right? So you got to also use the spirit of discernment to discern between good and evil. You should know amongst the body, and I would hope, right? There's no one in here that's trying to use you for their own gain. But once we understand that, you got to be able to operate outside of that. But this was the lesson in a nutshell. I just wanted to bring out that last point, just so that way, even though we're trying to serve, we got to also be careful too. Right? You don't want to get caught out there. Next thing you know, you wire transferring $1 million or $1,000 to a complete stranger you want to know. You don't even know. And next thing you know, you check their social profile. They got designer belts on and popping bottles, and they use your money to do that. So you got to be careful, brothers and sisters. So that was the lesson in a nutshell. Are you serving? Or are you willing to be served? Or are you waiting to be served? Right? So we got to understand this. We got to come back to serving each other so that way we could serve the Most High. Right? Let's go into the comment section real quick. And
all right, we can start right here. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Ruth 116 says the intro music is nice.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sister. And like I said, we're gonna work to bring this music out for all of our brothers and sisters to be able to enjoy. Right?
She also says happy Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom, sister.
Shabbat Shalom, sister.
Great to see you online. Brother Lenzel Lott, Shalom family. Shalom, brother. Israel J, happy Sabbath. All praises to Ahaya Bahashem Yeshaya wa Rawah Kwadash.
Shabbat Shalom.
Yapal Judah, Shabbat Shalom family. So happy to be back. All praises to Ahaya Bahashem Yeshaya wa Rawah Kwadash.
All praises.
Aaron Slater, Shalom family. Everybody. Brianna Griffith, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat
sister.
Shalom, sister.
I hope all of you had a blessed Purim. I definitely enjoyed it with my brothers and sisters in Brockport. I'm so happy about that.
Yeah, definitely all praise to the Most High. I'm happy that you guys actually was able to keep the feast. Right?
Betty Ralph, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, sister.
Shabbat Shalom, sis. T to J Thursdale, Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, How's everything, brother Thursdale? Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
I pray everything is all right with you too, man. Shabbat Shalom.
Isaac Wold Michael, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Daweed bin Israel,
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Mishpaka? All right, okay. Hope I said that right. My Hebrew's not that good. I don't want to butcher your name. Algamana. Oh, that's Algamana. Denise.
Oh,
hi.
Yeah, they're trolls. Oh, okay. All right.
Hey, how are you?
Hopefully you learned something if you stayed long enough. But go ahead.
You going down? Scroll down.
Yeah, you gotta expect that when you're doing the work of the Most High. A lot of people don't like that.
Isaiah Aliana. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And happy Feast of Purim,
Definitely
family. Happy Feast of Purim.
Yes, definitely.
Really great.
And like I said, I hope everybody was able during the Feast of Purim was able to go out there and to do something for somebody else outside of yourself. Yes, we give gifts to each other, and that's the feast or the holy day that we use to give gifts to our children. You know what I'm saying? Outside of satanic Christmas, You understand? Because in the feast of the Most High, we do have a season where we give gifts. So it's not really about the gift giving with Christmas, but we do give gifts to each other. But the purpose of it is to actually help someone else, serve those who are less fortunate. And the feeling that you get by doing that is way more better than receiving a gift. That's what even the scripture says. It says is more blessed to give than to receive. And it's proven every time we go out there and we help out those who's less fortunate amongst our people. So I definitely hope that you brothers and sisters was able to do that this Purim.
All right. Melanin Rich Nagash.
Shabbat Shalom, Ak.
Shabbat Shalom, Ak. Shabbat Shalom, family. Israel J says, great lesson, brothers. May the Most High continue to use you to spread the truth to all the four corners of the world and into all the 12 tribes. Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. And definitely all praise to the Most High.
All praises to the Most High.
And as long as the Most High got air coming through our lungs, this is what we're going to do.
Definitely going to do that.
You know what I'm saying? We spent our lives serving ourselves. Why not serve the Most High?
Linzo Lot says, I thought he was homeless, but he said he was going home.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I didn't even catch that.
And that's what boggled my mind. Like, here I am trying to honestly help the brother. I see you the next week, and the good news that I give you didn't want to hear that. You just want to continue begging. So, you know what? You can't help the world. You got to understand. We got to understand that because the Most High gave us a spirit of love and just wanting to help. But we got to be able to discern when someone is trying to use us. Not everybody wants to be helped. No. You know what I'm saying? That was proven under Christ too with the Pharisees. They didn't want no help. They just came to challenge Christ.
Always ask them what you're gonna do with your money too. Right. Also,
yeah, yeah.
Once you say I just need the money, just know you got to get out of there.
Yeah.
But if they need something to eat, definitely go and buy that food for them.
You you'll know. Or you'll know who needs your help.
Okay, all right.
If you coming to me with a cigarette already lit in your hand, talking about some kind of get $1, you better walk the other way. Nah. I'm not about to support your habits. But go ahead.
So now the next person is Ruth 116. She says thank you. Isaac Wold Michael. Deep lesson. The Holy Bible is compact with all we need to guide a society. Kwame in Yeshaya. Kwame in Yeshaya.
Definitely. You already know. And this is really the reason why we have to go into this book to continue to mold and shape our minds on how the Most High wants us to be. We're not gonna be able to do it with no other teachings. But Khan, definitely.
Oh, Betty Ralph says Aljanana is my little sister. Sorry for butchering the name.
Oh, okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's not a troll. Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
She doesn't know how the chat works. Laugh out loud.
Oh, okay.
But she did come in to the chat on her own. So all praises to the Most High. Definitely all praises to the Most High. Yeah. Sorry for that mistake. We thought it was somebody just coming in.
Yeah, our tech was saying it was a troll, so we thought it was a troll. So, but that's great work. That's great news to hear that your sister is coming in, and our families is learning.
Sorry, Betty.
Yeah. So looks like that's all for the lesson and for the comments.
Yeah.
Quick announcements, real quick. Next week we will officially be at our prime location, right? Where we will be every Sabbath, where we'll be able to congregate with brothers and sisters, who's in the greater New York area. If you're in Brooklyn, New York, all right. If you want the address to the location, like we said last week, send us an email, right? Send us an email, and we'll send you the address so you can come fellowship with us next week. We'll be there. That'll be the first Friday. We'll be there. At our new location where we'll have every Sabbath, right? And local feast days as well and stuff like that. So if you're interested and you want to be a part of the body and you want to come, send us an email and we'll definitely get that information to you so you could be a part of the body and be a part of this greatness and be a part of, Christ and serving and helping our people and doing the work. Right?
Got some comments?
No, that's it. What else? I know we have Passover coming up.
Yeah.
Passover is coming up real soon.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's a couple of weeks from now.
Yeah, like three weeks from now.
I'll say approximately 3 weeks from now.
The new year.
Yes, the new year first, right? March 10th.
Mm-hmm.
March 10th. For those of you guys who might not know, March 10th is the new year, right? According to the calendar of the Most High. All right, the new year didn't come in during the dead of winter. Right, everything is dead, nothing is growing, but it's the new year. Right, the new year is spring, where everything is bringing life. Right, so we're gonna celebrate the new year, March 10th. And if you're gonna be in New York or you're gonna be in the Brooklyn area,
New location,
and you want to come and fellowship with us for the New Year feast, you're free to do so. Send us the email. We'll give you the location, and that's how we're gonna be moving. Right. Then we got Passover, and yeah, that's about it. Yeah. And once again, we want to thank all of the brothers and sisters who labor with us weekly, right? Who labor with us weekly and help us do the work. Everything that you guys do is greatly appreciated. From your support, your comments, your views, your subscriptions, your donations, everything actually supports the work, and it helps and encourages us to continue to do more for the Most High. So we thank you, brothers and sisters, for that. All right. Let's go right into the comment section again real quick before we end it.
All right.
I got a couple more comments and we get right into it.
All right, the brother Yashar Yawach, Shabbat Shalom Amak, he says, excellent lesson, Ayam. Great lesson. Read both comments first. This is my comment. Number one, I think this scripture should be added to the lesson. And then Lazelle Lot comes in and says, at that point, I would have been on that Ecclesiastes 12:4.
Ecclesiastes 12:4?
Yeah. Give to the God. I was already here because I was going to bring it out at the end.
I know you wanted to bring that out. I seen you.
Yeah, I was like, give to the godly man and help not a sinner. I'll even go down further. Do well unto him that is lowly, but give not to the ungodly. Hold back thy bread and give it not unto him, lest he overmaster thee thereby, for else that thou shalt receive twice as much evil for all the good thou shalt have done unto him.
So you see that? So people, that goes to show that there's people out there who's gonna use you for what you have, and you got to be able to discern that and know when to serve and when to hold back. But the godly man, we need to be helping the godly brothers and sisters. Right? Go ahead.
I think that's it. Next comment. 1 Timothy chapter 3 verses 2 to 12. Yes, I speak about the characteristics. Let me get that too. Yes, I speak about the characteristics of bishop and deacons, but we can look at those characteristics and apply it to leaders and apply it to ourselves if we're trying to be servants in the kingdom. Khan, I agree with that. Let me get the scripture.
Just real quick, there's another comment. Well, there's a couple more comments too.
What was it again?
Well, 1 Timothy, we're talking about the qualifications of a bishop and deacon. We're not gonna read the whole thing.
Yeah, I just realized it's 2 and 12, but go down. Isaiah Alana. No, I missed the whole lesson. I'm a Hebrew nurse, so I'm practically busy with my patients.
It's all right. Don't worry. You like when the lesson is done, when we're offline, you'll be able to go back and watch the full lesson. I know you. The experience is better when it's live, but you'll still be able to catch the lesson and get the edification, sister.
He said, I'm just gonna rewatch
it. But we gotta do what we gotta do. Take care of our families.
Yeah, she said she's gonna rewatch it.
Yeah.
Shaw Your Watch comes in again. But I want to emphasize fabulous lesson, my brothers. I will be watching it again tomorrow morning while listening to the brother Yaquar singing, "It was all the Most High." And he sent the son to die. Okay. By the way, this scripture reminded me of brother Hazak, brother Yaquar, and brother Levi. Please read Sirach 39 and 15. I'm gonna read it real quick.
Sirach 39 and 15. That's Ecclesiasticus for those who might not know.
Sirach 39 and 15. Magnify his name, show forth his praise with songs of your lips, and with harps, and in praising him, ye shall say after this manner. So, all praises to the Most High.
With the gift of singing and using music to glorify the Most High.
He's definitely given us the gifts. Praise his name, and the Most High truly does love when we praise him through.
With that being said, like we say every week, want to thank you once again, all you brothers and sisters, for coming in on the Sabbath. You guys could have been anywhere on a Friday night, but you guys are here with us, the body of Christ Kingdom, and bringing in the Sabbath, right? Rest of the Sabbath is still here. We still got to go into it. Try to be as safe as possible. Try to keep this day as separate as you can. Rest, right? Spend it with your friends and family, and just do what the Most High calls us to do, right? With that being said, I want to bid you all Godspeed and bid you a hearty and healthy Shabbat Shalom until next week. Next week we'll be in our new location. If you want to come in and fellowship with us, like we said, email is in the description box below. So send us an email, and we'll get back to you on that. Say what? Oh, you put it in the comments? All right, thank you. Our tech guy is hard at work behind the scenes, man. See, oh man, and this is even like is bringing me to the next lesson that I'm already preparing about that. But stay tuned, brothers and sisters. Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala. Happy Sabbath.
Happy Sabbath.